세 숨도 나대 뭐래리 말한소 차바키스 율때 코 파기니 다기 린징 이제니 차바키 거래 이제 렌징이 찍어라 렌두기 찍어라 렌바투기 렌징 와다 이 이제니 깨어디 갈라 율 파자데 간데시 인룸 민룸 제부지 인룸 민룸 간지 이제사데 친지로기 이제니 진용데 갈라 다 디기 가서 그렇다 자율대 닌지부지 토나진지지 아니 다 잡아코는 지다니 잡뱅고 자연도 갈라 아니 가르사 미버즈 이도나미 넘버 덜거에 넘버진 질레 동할 게 비텐지 봤기도 어떻게 그때 something 시간가 something 아니 지디 되기 딱 세번아진지 렌지기 이시바지 임바지 학과나 어따 땐된 자율 라 나와도 레이르데 젬바도 밀래야 또 팽기를 쓴 것도 없어 다 셰야데 되리다
next verse 24 in the outline overcoming the belief that objects of aversion are truly existent. Object of aversion or object of attachment or desire. Attachment or desire or aversion is the result of the truth grasping thought itself rather than the object out there, regardless of that object, whether it is appealing, attractive, beautiful or not. The subjective mind is already tainted, so the mind will look at that object, seeing that object as view that object as a beautiful, attractive, and then further kind of goes on to holding that this is true, this is right, and therefore generates problems, suffering at the end. In fact, the attachment or desire, negative attachment, if I may make it more precise, when we look at the nature of the mind, we look at the three components: the object, focus object. Focus object for this kind of mind or mental factor is always something attractive, appealing. The nature of the mind is that that kind of mental state, or when they see beautiful, attractive object, they don't want to separate from it. Say they want to clinging to stay with this object sort of forever. And then the function of that kind of interaction is a suffering at the end. So that is how attachment, negative attachment or desire is explained. And so again here, kind of trying our best to understand how our mind kind of sees things versus how things exist out there, in reality. And the stronger that you have, the proper understanding of how things exist and how your mind view things, it would be extremely beneficial in kind of diminishing or intensity of the negative, attachment, desire, hatred, all those negative emotions.
어단 배작하나 두순다 중앙 나서 밀람 부실타르스 푸낭 젬르 좀바 아탕체스 디치르 민팅이나 테베세 투얼타바 야틀알인스 와다두 숭도하스 다땡고네 알아서 넘긴 차당 간디시게 베이나 제당 깨디가라 젠라네베 마참바 토베 셈띵니 수부징지기 제당 깨거래 대야 지데 렌징이 지거래 와다 차바키디가라 율리 이동하지 테니 딜라이니 베 젠진 차거래 디양 시대 된징이 지고 와래. 간제 녀몽지 저기 이 탐제 된징이 지네. 된다왜 줄지 된진데 따바타주고 문진지네. 이 낭줄데 깍바이나 디조 랑징이 케기가 와래. 아니 고갑이 아셔질라 나와야나 셴바베버질레기래. 아니 티니 야야지니 아니 즉 냠자고도 나생이가 맹에니 상기 산드디가라 틴디 텔레간 다 땡기 지데 와다 땡기 지데 세야데 와다 송이 또벨 타웨 토니 투투야지 깨지게서 못하디 그래 와다 땡기디가라 디조 강가 가서 낭줄 때까바이나 다 차잔지 오니 휘다부지 용하게 자거래 와다 땡기디가라 즉 가서 툭툭지 이게 삼무당 양양도 삼무당 양양도 삼무당 해야 돼. 배 개침벌이 낭비 최시디가라. 조조 여름지 디송도 낭비 최시디가라. 다가서 넘반 내야 돼. 뒤까지 시가 말. 낭비 최시디가라. 가서 춘고람스디 고바신데 당분이 맨데기까지 시가 말와. 배수진에 네배 디바세비 차지랑 고바시 걸어와. 인유모세비 차지랑 고바시 걸어와. 된다와데 재산 최 얼마데 된다와에 네배 디양 고바디양 디바세비 제차디양 동이도 벨타왈 두고 와래. 된디가라 내 전부 쉬위차디 그래. 나랑주 남쪽이 녀만여기 개발을 마도 딜스 삼로단데 갈릭잡아 있나 닝부메 가자다 땐자인이요 말에 랑게 남쪽이 녀만여기 개발 가지게도 비용 줘야 돼.
Verse 24. I'll start with easy translation, straightforward. All forms of suffering are like a child's death in a dream. Holding illusory appearances to be true makes you weary. Therefore, when you meet with disagreeable circumstances, see them as illusory. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. In your translation, the various ills in our life that we suffer resemble the death of our son in a dream. To hold as the truth what is merely illusion is needless exhaustion of body and mind. For this very reason, when faced with unpleasant conditions that normally cause us much grief, approach them as if they were only illusion. The sons of the Buddhas all practice this way. So regardless of what a negative emotions or mental state that you generated, anger or hatred, here as said earlier, this distorted view becomes the foundation on which these negative distorted negative emotions arises. More specifically, truth grasping view. Again, as said earlier, trying to dismantle that, appearances that things exist out there independently, inherently, truly, and with that kind of, approach or journey, it is possible to reach at the level where now you have only appearances, not actual grasping and holding on to, what you perceive as a true. And then maybe at the highest level, absence of both. There is no appearances, there is no grasping as well. So here, again, kind of important to, to work from the beginning, the appearance level, how things kind of appears to you. So what requires here is, as said earlier, constant examination, reflection, or contemplation. And when His Holiness talks about Buddhism, one of the essence in Buddhist understanding is the cessation, truth of cessation. When we say cessation is something that must come through effort. Cessation is not something that kind of arises automatically, and cessation comes from intentional, deliberate, effort, and that kind of cessation comes from related here understanding of true nature of how things exist, or emptiness, realizations of emptiness. And in terms of what is saying here, it is a very kind of crucial, important concept. There's nothing sort of there's not the concept having a profound, very important, essential understanding. So there's nothing sort of lacking from what we are learning. But on the other hand, it could be possible that not having a proper level of intelligence, we might not reach to this kind of understanding.
어당 동리주로도 접겠다 디수세야 돼도 동시군이 개발체를 마다 양 가지군이 개발하게 말했어. 일주인이군이 개발이 말했어. 주인이 전에 렘베동 왔다가라 니루 집어차디 그래. 다 동시 만나 임베천이 동리주로세 동리주께세야 동리니슈세야 돼서 동시 만나천 차발했어. 그래서 하고나 야버렸어.
And the different, kind of numbers of, the list of emptiness, like 16 different emptiness, 18 different emptiness. These are all based upon, the basis of the emptiness, not how, or what way they are empty of. In terms of the nature of the emptiness, it's exactly the same, but because of the different basis of the emptiness, we see different, numbers or different kind of list of emptinesses.
강 가자 된두가야 지부지경을 렘바주바 대가랑 가고 그래. 될라 예 지동반이라디 예 된두모 임바신다 가다엔 착해요 말해. 그 지동반이 있는데 동시 최진데 왕봉하래. 아니 토마토만 동시 시진라 아니 걸어가자 거래. 어다 던디기 동시 최진 만다 왕기 아니 동니 주고 민 만다 다 바르마서 같이 가중 가자 지바래 또 유친이 지바래 이젠다 개발이 엄마래스.
So in different this emptiness, the object of negation is same, which is true existence or inherent existence. And for example, the first one being emptiness of external emptiness, or maybe external emptiness of external phenomena. This refers to the emptiness of the five faculties, and therefore this kind of different one particular name. But otherwise, in terms of object of negation, in terms of the nature of emptiness itself, these are all kind of same.
어다 다 숨바데 디레도 심키 길랍자 셰팔라니 스타고네 랍자 조 친주당 디유르 센줄 셰바고 당불러 쭉 스다 이서 버진주도 셰경 거래 미시바케 쳔버레 가르자 심케네 사기 고팡주발라 소소는 망부시다고 거래 이시게 소도 소놈기 소 sensambu sumchuzangi pechezambu geju tegede 팔절 sensan tegede sonam lab chambu sana mado ku dubtubu me inza sonam sabala prajintu la nyam macha yoya khura yo mare oda te indigala 직 prajintu de shibuji kyaba chambi 장주 semgi sem 장주 sem이 다 nyam는 쪼도 차거래 저번 친구를 봐야 돼. 보다 친구 세대라 당부 따때는 다 모차라게 쳐이나 라바라방 물레세 타와 유구식이 와래. 보다 디인두가라 로 장외 좀 봐. 쪼잖아. 보다 라바데 물로 구구연서 누스치네. 순구에서레스. 그래서 관디타데 구림디타네 고 라바라바데 물로 누스치네. 론장을 좀 발라 도시네 저기 인사레스
From next verse start the teachings or more specifically advices related with the practice of Bodhicitta. In here it says engaging in the training of Bodhicitta, verse 25 to 37, which is actually nothing other than the practice of 6 perfections. Practice of 6 perfections are needed to accumulate positive merits, to attain enlightened signs of Buddhahood, 32 major and 80 minor signs of enlightened being. And in terms of how these 6 are kind of listed, it starts with the more easier practice, more grosser or more coarse practice, depending on the levels of practitioners. So it starts with easier practice, that's if you put that way, and then goes into more difficult, more subtle, more profound.
다 짐바 세데 동에 삼바지라 자고로 마도 동에 삼바지 몇 모자고래 동선 펠데 시우지께 전부 차대요래 와다 짐바들라 아니 자진 짐바 민지비 짐바 취기 짐바스데 람림도 두스니 숨숨은 것도 왔어
6 perfections begins with the practice of generosity. So generosity, in strictly sense, it refers to the thought or mind of giving. It's a thought, it's a mind, a mental state. And in the stages of Pada Lamrim, we find generosity categorized or classified into 3 forms. Generosity of material wealth, generosity of protection or guarding, and then third, generosity of dharma or teachings.
오다 근데 니가라다 딱 그런 지 모동데 지 로나스 전춘데 벨리견 당고나 디치르 못본 나라 메지고 디치르 렌다 나민 미레위 짐바다 마 결설라리 세디가라다 오네 바기 짐바데 캬바침비 짐바 전주기 셈 냠는 쟁인지기 짐바인드가 나민당 아니 디부당 민당 년자 텐들라 말아야지네 아니 강 짐바데 아니 파절에 개개개서만 페나서마마도 디 아니베 양랑 진진당 단 아니베 직 텐들라 만디부고네 인진고가라 가지 아니 잔싱이 짐바지나다 미지비 짐바지나다 취기 짐바지나다 당연하죠 취기 짐바지나 담년달라 옹인디니시나 나 민첨범 용미당 삼삼지 셰바이나 펜다 용고 말에 어떻게 돼? 내 시고대 같이 뭐 됐어.
So in the practice of generosity, since this practice comes under the practice of greater vehicle, practice of bodhicitta, altruistic mind or awakening mind, whatever practice that you engage in, whether of material wealth or protection or giving teachings, it must be completely unconditional, without expectation, without kind of hoping to get good name, fame, wealth, and completely out of thoughts of benefiting others. Nothing, no more than that. Without any influence of self-cherishing thought. It is important to understand that, for example, in the practice of giving teachings, it might get kind of influenced by by giving teaching. I might get appreciation, good name or status or fame. So with that kind of giving a generosity, generosity doesn't become generosity.
और दूसरे ता भजन जमजाना सरवा यानी मिंग से आते कांचे तुझे तेकिती ज़म्बर ज़म्मे दिनजिन थोनी योंगवारे ताम नियंत्रा सिंधे ज़म्बर ज़म्मे दिनजिन थोनी योंगुरु माता ते माता खापरे ता तेंडवे नांगजुल देशी जिद्दी चिबाई ना तेसो कंगा कैयाजी क्या जगह था भाई इंसारे वाता दूसरे वाता 가서 툭툭지 나란서 둥알 깨기 깬데 단지 마리바 젬버즈 베진진 티기치기 오래 젬버즈 베진진을 도쳐데 율레 깨발라 낭술 시야데 깨치쇼 차거래 윤도 때돌아 삼로땅 양량도 아주 간시 낭냐 간시 남기도 뭐보데 주베 간시 좀도 차사 고 뭐여 루상 뭐여기 지 뭐보 루상 때상 아주 낭줄닝이 따다 갑질로 렌도미도 지금 따다 레디나 따 아주 낭줄데 신지로 있나 따디게 가서 가서 지 편는데기도 계속 따거래 도시 냠시 윤도 되는지 삼다바이나 로단다와 내는 도시잖아 아 되는 낭배 취라 또서 좋아해야지 당 아니 즉 삼로마다지 코레지 땡땡 용그래 어디자데 아니 랑게 셈규라 인 지데기 사분지 때자데 때버려 마도 때마도 때비어 말해 점는 지된 점에 꼽아디야 니순을 공타를 보지 상긴 지된 점에 꼽아데 아니 가자 수이티징이 또나 텔라 상긴 지든 좀 꼽아줘 있는 라브레 수이칭이 또 된다왜 낭술디 지도 된지 중앙이나 텔라 상긴 상기 좀 된데 아니 지든 점에 꼽아데 두버레 상기 지든 점에 꼽아데 셈제길라 타르베 사번 중이야 똥이 길다왜 꼬아실랍 두베이나 타르베 서번 때자데 자투베레 오다테 시부지 예 모네랑게 랑 샤다이나 오다 두스체니 또서 달베 사번 남아서만 랑게 튼투나 야보여 예스 아니 잠자나스
fame and respect, these all again kind of goes back to truth grasping thought. When you have a good understanding of truth grasping thought, these kind of running after these probably won't happen. Again here, understanding of how things appears to you, the mode of existence, and whether they exist the way they appear to you, or is there any conflict between how things exist reality versus how they appears to you. And so constantly kind of engaging in thinking, contemplation, months, years, and doing that, then one can reach to the point where you can convince that there's really benefit in understanding Buddhism. It will generate genuine kind of interest. And with that kind of interest, there's a possibility of planting the seed of, genuine peacefulness or calmness of the mind. And in fact, Kongda Rinpoche has mentioned that whoever managed to see or attain the understanding of reality of how things exist, to that individual, the coming of the Buddhas, the purpose of the coming of the Buddha to this world has been fulfilled. So the purpose of Buddha coming into this world is to sort of invent, to plant the seed of liberation to the mind or consciousness of the people. And that can happen through understanding of emptiness. And if you care about your own sake, if you love yourself, then this is kind of worth of making a journey and engaging into more active kind of understanding. We'll stop here for today. Yeah.
I was trying to ask Lieutenant in the other room during our break. He told me to ask you. There's two parts to the path of seeing. Nyamsha Yeshe and Jetob Yeshe. When does Jetob Yeshe become path of familiarization, and why is it not part of Gomam? Why is it not part of the path of familiarization? I guess what makes it part of the path of Tonglam?
Kurang shedan Tonglam la shoro, Tonglam de nang lo da rimba de masene chanyi yore lo do nyamsha yeshe da Jetob Yeshe. The nyamsha yeshe da Jetob Yeshe de chiwa de she and dini Tonglam ge wall kharchin re dini Jetob Yeshe ro dina Gomlam ge wall kharchin mare lo do.
Tedi nyamja omlam ba yore, nyamja thonlam ba yore sirwa. Toba kon kondo Bodhigala, nyamja ne nyamja la pukore. Tambo joram chojo chimi ishi nyambarjani tongni ngusum tu to inde thonlam du phare. Thonlam du phone teni nyamja le ya tang ani thonlam je to bisi sing chabre. Tini yang nyambarja ani gomlam la ma me toba phoya de sangi ba da sumba tene phoya de nyamja la ko phoya ma do je to gola phoya yo mare. Yang nyambarja ani du su sangi ba ani be sumba tene to ne gomlam ani gomlam ni yang nyamja le dan yo de gomlam je to ba du chae tu srezi.
그런 저도 제도도 가르치는 곰람 말에 냠샤바 가르 통람 뭘 요래래.
통람 바데 냠자 통람라 냠자 냠버자기 요래 곰람 발라 냠버지 냠자 람니가래 냠지니가 요래스.
냠지니가 냠샤도 제도니가 요래라고.
요래.
So the first thing Geshe-la is clarifying that meditative equipoise and aftermath, or pose, these two exist even in part of meditation as well, in the part of seeing as well as part of meditation.
So these aren't durations; these are wisdoms.
Dini kare tujugi khalore, tujugi rimbadosh maro dini ta dirwelo khalore, sheba rwelo ta. When you say wisdom, are you saying sheba? Yeshe rwesa dini nyamshe.
동이 더비 로드 강가 이시자.
호랑기 선발 대선 그서 통람에는 인지미지 dini 직 인고를 했음 그랬다 등이 돼.
데들만 바드르몽 부여레스 데들 불라. 드runkiram 망부여레 데 단다 다가르인 디그레스. 아니 드룬 삼단다 에 로열겐도야 망부여레. 거기는 셰바게 조바게 시소까지 마치루데 통람다 텐데 자레 망부여.
So we're just saying that there are a lot more than these two under Tonglam or within a Tonglam, just part of seeing. So here we are saying, kind of in a very simple way. For example, 8 stages of wisdom, 8 stages of forbearance, or so many different stages that is included within the path of seeing. And when we present it, just these two, we are presenting in a very kind of simple way.
Then I'm confused because if we're talking about, when you say J-top, we're talking about post-meditation. And the J-top is concerning path.
냠자를 람베 냠자를 람 탐게도는 제토발라게어레스. 데라 토나바이로 옴람바이어레스.
So somebody who is awakened from meditative equipoise is a jetov after or post meditative stage, and that could be happen in part of seeing as well as part of meditation. It doesn't have to be always part of seeing.
But then I'm still confused because if we're talking J-top being post-meditation, at what point is it no longer concerning Tonglam and is part of Gomlam?
The one to thinking longer resha the jetov la de any dig up tanda de jetov la de and jetov body Tonglam go al kharin yore Tonglam ge the jetov body any khasa Gomlam la kharin yo mariledo.
옴람이어레스. 요마르스 실랍선스.
So they're saying that Jetopa, there is a Jetopa under meditative part of meditation. Who is saying that there is no aftermath session in Gomlam?
The 5 paths. Okay, 5 paths. Tonglam is the 3rd path. 4th path is Gomlam, correct? At what point it coming down out of the meditation from Tonglam becomes Gomlam? I know Gomlam has, you're saying that Gomlam has also J-top from the meditation, but at what point is it no longer the path of seeing? Where is it?
Say the Harelo, that said the name that Tonlam Gomlam Purra Shora. Say instead of Harzan Goresada.
Says this Salam Tony Kishigre, the Jigu Legres.
So
Kaje dire 돈이 웃음도 또야라 통 세대라 돈이 쌀도 또봐 웃음도 통 인자 통 세대 두스리 옴 세대 돈이 양교를 아니베 통화자 많이 봐 로라 꼼리 레버거 꼼바 레버거 해도 아니 옴람 세대 꼼버진 디버진 양양도 곰구야자 옴람 세대 꼬락 빠지는 텐데.
These are all just saying that it all relates with whole another topic, what we call salam, path and ground and path. It's a whole another subject. Practitioners gaining first kind of new realizations of emptiness. First time of gaining direct realizations of emptiness is considered as the path of attaining a path of seeing. And somebody additional to that, getting very familiar with understanding of emptiness again and again, or as you use word familiarization, that is the stage of path of meditation. You do know. Kurang chitangi chewa densa this tonglam ne gomlam 차단 간데스 차고 오래로 산삼 로디 차를 다 디갱 차를 오래는 누구 차를 하셔라 다 통남네 곰남 곰남바 차를 해야 돼
곰람바 차야 돼 곰람
다 산삼도 간데스 오래로 다 데네션 다고 통남 다 통남마로 곰남바를 차로 근데 강사대 간데스 티죠.
뉴몽 라 님부체탄 근 전에 개발이어레스. 그봐. 통남 세대 다 사당부마다 자고 말해. 발저 사녀반이 사주 탐이 20%도 옴람 버차돼. 윤승이 차돼.
So one way of kind of demarcation, because you're saying that depending on how to apply antidotes to the afflictions, different levels of affliction, and when we look at the stages, salam, sa being ground, lumping path, ground and path, first bhumi or first ground is considered as sort of equal to path of seeing, and then from second ground onwards to 10th considered as a part of Sanyiwan Sajuobudilambe, Komlambe.
사 주바들라 탐이시다 토미시니라 토미시버도.
So from second to the first half of 10th bhumi, the 10th bhumi or 10th ground itself is kind of divided into two. The first, duration, second duration, and then until the end of first duration of 10th ground is the part of meditation.
통남기 뉴문꾼다 방그마다 랭키 판두와 말에 랭키 랭념 붙여들고 오만 푸고래.
So in terms of applications of antidotes, part of seeing can only eliminate or apply antidotes towards imputed afflictions or delusions, and they are not capable of applying antidotes or able to eliminate innate afflictions. And once they are able to apply antidotes and able to deal with innate afflictions, then they get promoted or becomes practitioners of part of meditation.
오늘 야보질 따나 사람 말다 지속한가 지메치진 시작 가버려.
So without looking more into
남림잠제 락바지게도 고트야 가버려.
without going more in depth into Salam text, path and ground, simply understanding a lamrim won't able to understand completely of this
very
kind of.
집살 따나 레시 세팅나라 답하게 방자 방루도서 뺏어버려. 데니트 세르 도그래. 마다 가버려.
And even if you want to more look detail, you can look into lecture setting, the text, golden ornament or jewel of wisdom or knowledge by Tsongkhapa. Yeah, that Tsongkhapa text, you can look into that. Yeah.
I'm thinking of making some cushions to donate to IBC, so that it could, I said it doesn't have to be, but it could be used for high lamas who come to our center. So what is your advice on what is the correct way of making them?
뭐 대행 가지신 IBC를 신데부터 지금에서 엔디 델로게실할 기할 삼주카려 랍자카려엘라도. 엔디 슈골이안 라마신 받은 데가베게 페주치시 워렐라도. 곰덴 스템교서.
알레. 와 미세 랍자 섬주지게 메스와. 간지 가르치베나 펜타워지당 대지 땅 넣어야지 집에 있는데 가리나 야버레스. 아니 유지성 배지 땅 넣어야지 매긴 차베나 그 수수 이윤로지 대발에 맞아 된다. 파철 그 마펜 차이운데가라 캔서 작은 말베스.
So we're saying that he don't have any particular advices. Whatever you spend money on to make something, just make sure that it is usable, something that is really kind of beneficial. Otherwise, it would be just wastage of your labor as well as expenses.
사회가 아리온 다 유는 못 차거래. 나는 좀 망보지게 내가 깔 시부지게 거래. 망체 배주대 내가 집인 좀네 배샤오 캐다나 망체 가비는 땅거도. 대다 배트가 노출 좀 버려. 가지 라.
No, sonda.
가지 소지 내가지 아니 배샤대 돌아 당겨 말해. 가지 두 번째 야니 망자를 펜바지. 야니 랑 추기된 대회 텐데지 된장제야지 양이 롭다 텐데 두스진 제바이나 가베스 강뉴뉴제 가베스 뉴오제나 코리올란 펜보여래 에는 랑기 먹구란 셉지그리 근데 빼 디르 미망보지 가베스나 자라 망부 요구도 어떻게 되게 기는 야부 말에 저지니 가서 툭툭지 남쳤대 아니 갑도 그 잠만이 봐 풍야는 무슨 땅에 내가 제대 뺏겠지 모르겠어.
So he has been in here for a while, in America for a while, and he IBC and many people made a lot of effort, and but at the end in making money or in possessions, but at the end it kind of end up not using appropriately or beneficially. He was using wood, kind of throwing in the trash, and whatever contribution that you do, it would be good to kind of to start from kind of with a long-term objective, and something that is beneficial for a larger community, for or something that is beneficial for development of or construction of if related to practice, then statues or images, and making sure that it won't end up something sort of trash or not using. So need to kind of think in the long term rather than what is good in a short temporary basis. Matt, do you have a question?
Yeah, earlier at the beginning of the teaching, you said that Geshe-la said that we don't study the 6 perfections until after we attain bodhicitta, and I've heard different things about the criterion for having attained bodhicitta. Like I've heard that somebody's crying during meditation, or tears come effortlessly. To what extent does purification play a role in bodhicitta? Like, do you do nandro in order to clear away your self-grasping tendencies to attain bodhicitta, or do you start the purification practice after you attain bodhicitta and then begin studying emptiness? I guess I'm asking, what is the order in which a practitioner proceeds, and how many months, how many years do they stay on the topic of bodhicitta before proceeding to study the perfections and emptiness?
The Quran to Dirsha the Tuzu Ringdun of Dirsha the Tuo the Mone Dirsha Tuzu Ringdun Kagachi Guresa Pechashina Susu Persian to Yamlen the Gola, Persian to Yamlen Chela. Simge Kies and any to Jung Kagasil any the culture Persian to Yamlena Shuku, the Koranam Yukoashina, Dewajada Damanakutus, any Kalawachik Stankorane, Jig Simge, Ta del Tajik and Jusamba Jiga Major Army, and sure that Tajing Church and the Dejik Simge Dishura, Tendeda, and Jigaya. Persian to Yamle matching and jigging to Tango and the Yans, Sosan Division, and the Rimba the Mass in the Candistro and the during the house could really do.
The Rimba Mamboyare, they nan Tambo, Rimbo said, Sundila Ralebre, Bezella. You send the insini Tanda Loptagi, Lomdebs on the Jicacamara is Roa. The Shiguling Gruatan Chadiore, Rangi Tampo, Nambechi, Nanchi, Abu Seguada, Shene, Nipe, Shigula Pagi, Gruatan, Tangela, the Indigala, the Susu Zundilla Ralebre, using Ducache or Mare. And it Tagiti Mini Chumaching there, good, then Rediore. Tepachembe said the Sebitatela Carizna, taking Chichuvana Mini Chima. The Ligi Bobu, Takipartinal Dembe, Chilagori. What a theory. That thing one to Jan Seade, Chazogi, any pay, Yamlin checking, Chazogi, Yamlin Chabala, Mundu Maja, and Drosakora Yomari. These are teams on the Lotaki Lobdebs on the Shadiore. The mother Nangea Mare, Yamin Tambonanga, Mototar Dun, Sum, Ji, Tenema Sabardo, Mototar Resana, lama ni be bagi tosu nyamlen topu nang tu nyamlen ti nang ko rang mare ti mana nyamlen je ko rang ya marwa
This the question of duration, how long will it take? It depends purely on one's level of effort that you put into it. When talking about Buddhist practice, it is not like a curriculum at school. You are done with this textbook for this 6 months. That's not how it kind of does in. Primarily in Buddhism, the practice is to train your thought or mind, and then it depends on how much effort that you put into the practice. And when you mentioned about tears coming out effortlessly, that was correct in finding, or in understanding somebody who is truly belongs to the family of Mahayana practitioners. When they hear teachings of Mahayana, then there is an automatic, spontaneous, physical kind of responses to that kind of teaching. Talking about it was in that was mentioned in the sutra of 10 teachings or 10 phenomena, using a metaphor of seeing the smoke inferring this fire, and seeing the seabirds, you can infer there's the existence of ocean or water body nearby. And likewise, seeing tears coming out effortlessly, goosebumps when hearing Buddhist, the Mahayana teachings. Those kind of the signs of recognizing correct, practitioners. And preliminary practices like ngundo, purification that you asked. That is also true in terms of practitioners in Chakchen and Dzogchen, Vajrayana practices. Not only one time, but depending on the your kind of the nature of practice and teacher too, and some stricter teachers they made students to go through entire practices of Ngöndro 3 or 4 times, more than just one. In that case, it would be more like kind of, textbook at school. There's a specific time that you need to finish within that allowed time. Otherwise, they won't even kind of, give you teachings. So it depends on different kind of,
Dua tangbula nembeji kyabi nazrawa. Yeah. Ndagi marvalo zawagi tumu titi gala. Milare ba changkang misi ki tiba mares. From da ni be lo jalo mangbuji le tiba rete. Jalo kangalo ni tumi nyamle na re. Sijili ji de tumi nyamle na re. Sijili ji sangye de jimile changchang chungre. Te sundi wangi chungra.
When Marba gave teachings of Tumu practice, the Tumu practice practice of I don't know, sometimes translated as inner heat. That instruction was given to all of his followers very openly, but among those followers, only one that was able to succeed and attaining enlightenment within one lifetime was Milarepa only. So there was no kind of restrictions or no kind of differences. It depends entirely upon, as he was saying, the efforts and dedications from a student's part.
Yeah. Kari ravi
Kove shingam supendan dewa male jungwe ne chere singwa tenzin yaso in shave sede batu ten Kove jidara shenpa dan kundu sangpo deyan de shen den teda kungen jesun da lob jen gyawa deda tam je rab tu ngu tu sum shaben gyawa tam je ge ngwa kan la chodo ngam da shen ge wen zawan di gun ja sangpo jen je rab tu ngu warai ki In the land and covered snow-white mountains, the source of all happiness and benefits flows in your person, jealousy, and also remain until samsara ends. Just as the Bodhisattva Manjushri attained omniscience and Samandabhata too, so now do I dedicate these merits to train and follow in their footsteps. As all the victorious Buddhas of past, present, and future praise dedication to their Supreme, so now I do dedicate these sources of my merit for all beings to perfect good actions.